While we call for a ceasefire, we also condemn anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, anti-Arab racism, all of which are growing in our nation at this moment and must be stopped.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
We told y'all the other day how the UAW had called for a ceasefire. They did that at a rally in D.C. The announcement was made by Region 9A Director Brandon Mencia. And last week, on Thursday, I think it was, maybe it was Thursday, Shawn Fain spoke at a Unions for Ceasefire rally with several other folks. And he gave a really good speech, and I wanted to play that for you here.
Of what humanity is and can be. The UAW is proud to stand here with our fellow union family, with Congresswomen Cori Bush, Rashida Tlaib, who happen to be a couple of the most badass representatives in Congress. But we stand together to call for peace and to call for a ceasefire. You know, this is a product of our belief in humanity, that innocent civilians must be protected. You know, we cannot bomb our way to peace.
That's right. No.
The only path forward is to build peace and social justice. It's through a ceasefire.
Yeah. Right. Ceasefire now.
You know, as a UAW, you know, we take pride in our history of standing up for justice at home and around the world, around the globe. You know, throughout our history, we're a union that's always spoken up for civil rights and human rights time and time again. That said, I want to be clear. What we're calling for today, a ceasefire. It's what the global community is currently standing together for.
That's right. Yeah. Right.
At the United Nations, it's what the majority of nations called for.
Yes. That's right.
And right here in America, it's what the majority of American citizens want.
Yes.
You know, the world's seen enough slaughter and devastation. Peace is the only path forward. While we call for a ceasefire, we also condemn anti-Semitism,
That's right.
Islamophobia,
That's right.
anti-Arab racism,
That's right.
all of which are growing in our nation at this moment and must be stopped.
That's right.
You know, we know unions provide a bridge toward fighting all forms of hatred, phobias, racism, sexism, anti-Semitism, homophobia, Islamophobia, and more. As union members, we know we must fight for all workers and suffering people around the world. We must fight for humanity. That means we must restore people's basic rights and allow water, food,
Yes.
fuel,
Right. That's right.
humanitarian aid to enter Gaza.
That's right.
We must also call for the release of all hostages.
That's right.
I thank our UAW members for speaking out and pushing us
That's right.
to come out in support of a ceasefire.
That's right.
It was the right thing to do.
That's right.
So now it's time for the rest of our elected leaders to step up and do what it takes to end the violence.
That's right.
And I call on the rest of the labor movement to join us in this mission for peace and social justice for all of humanity. So thank you.
UAW leading on this as they are on many issues, and I wanted to illustrate a little bit, for folks here in Alabama who may be listening, or in the South. We are much more familiar with Christians and Christianity than we are with Muslims and Islam. And people really forget that there are Christians in Palestine. There are Christians that are being killed by the Israeli military. And there are Christians in the West Bank occupied by Israel that are, that are protesting in their own way. And this, I thought, was a very poignant video from a Christian in Bethlehem, where Jesus was born, talking about what they're doing or not doing for Christmas this year. Let's play that.
Christmas celebrations are canceled this year in Bethlehem for obvious reasons. It's impossible to celebrate when there is a massacre, a genocide taking place in Gaza with our people. And so the idea was to send a message to the world first, but also to ourselves. A message to the world that this is what Christmas looks like in Palestine. This is what Christmas looks like in Bethlehem, the birthplace of Jesus. Children being pulled from under the rubble, families being displaced with their homes destroyed. And while the world is celebrating Christmas, at the birthplace of Jesus, this is what Christmas looks like.
This is usually a season for celebrations and also a season for hope. Is there hope left?
We have hope in our faith. We have hope. The Christmas story actually gives us hope in the fact that Jesus was born among the occupied. This is what happened 2,000 years ago. And so going back to this manger setting, it tells us that baby Jesus is in solidarity with those who are suffering, with those who are oppressed. So in this Christmas, we find our only source of hope is our faith in a just God, and in our solidarity with one another. And I hope that this message gets to the world, that we are united in Palestine, and sadly right now we are united in our pain.
There's so much detail going on here at building this manger. Can you tell me a little bit more about how you placed the manger and all those details?
Yeah, the image basically came from what we see on our screens, children being pulled out of the rubble, and people coming and searching under the rubble to find any sign of life, any sign of hope. These images have broken us, and we wanted to bring them to the church. And usually, a typical manger would have baby Jesus in the middle, and then the Holy Family, the shepherds and the magi surrounding him. But this time around, we thought of all these characters in the baby, in the gospel narrative, in the Christmas narrative, being around the house as if they are searching for Jesus, as if they are trying to find him in the.
So there's another article back in November from Al Jazeera about the Christian community in Palestine, quoting Mitri Rahib, an evangelical Lutheran pastor and founder of Dar al-Kalima University in Bethlehem. He said it was conceivable that the current conflict would spell the end of its long history in this strip of land. This community, the Christian community, is under threat of extinction, Rahib told Al Jazeera. I'm not sure if they will survive the Israeli bombing, and even if they survive, I think many of them will want to emigrate. We know that within this generation, Christianity will cease to exist in Gaza. In the West Bank, Christians are on a stronger footing, with more than 47,000 people living there, according to a 2017 census, but violence and persecution have unsettled the community there too. Attacks on clergy and churches has quadrupled this year compared to last year, Raheb, whose academic institution documents such events, said. On January 26th, this was before, even this last, the current bombardment in Gaza. January 26th, a mob of Israeli soldiers attacked an Armenian bar in the Christian quarter of the old city of Jerusalem, shouting, "Deaths to Arabs, deaths to Christians." A couple of days later, Armenians leaving a memorial service in the Armenian quarter were attacked by Israeli settlers carrying sticks. An Armenian was pepper sprayed as settlers scaled the walls of the Armenian convent, trying to take down its flag, which had a cross on it. I mean, just really, this is really serious stuff that's happening in Israel, and it's happening in large part because of the funding of the United States. And so that's why it's important to understand what's going on there and to speak out against it.
Because we're all paying for it.
Yeah. I mean, it's, bad, when wicked things happen all over the world, it's bad enough. There are atrocities happening all over the world. In Sudan, in particular, is going through a rough patch. But But the reason that the Israeli conflict is so, is on the mind of so many is because, like Adam said, we are paying for it. We are paying for the extinction of Christians in Gaza. The United States of America. That's what we're paying for. We are paying for the propping up of a society that is attacking Christians in the old city of Jerusalem, saying death to Christians, right? I mean, people talk about Christians being persecuted in this country, and that's, anybody who is remotely serious understands that is silly to think about Christian persecution in this country. But we are paying for Christian persecution in Israel, in territories occupied by Israel. Really disturbing stuff. And so that's why it's all the more important that, that the UAW is out front on this, that they are not just signing their names to the paper and not just letting lower level leadership, take the heat for this, but that you've actually got Shawn Fain going out and being strong in his support for humanity, for Jewish people and Muslim people and Arab people and Palestinians. And so it's really great to see. Really great to see.
Yeah, and I was just going to say, I think the fact that UAW in particular, because of the size of UAW, because of the reputation, and because right now it is the union that's on fire the most, right? You would think, in terms of just the energy behind it. I think the fact that they have taken such a clear stand will hopefully encourage other folks in the labor movement to take a stand as well, and to feel more confident in doing so, because it's the right thing to do.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.
Which side are you on?